Larry Frank Sports Unfiltered. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure being with you today. We are just down the road from the Fort Campbell Army Base in Fort Campbell, Tennessee. And I'll tell you what, first of all, let's start our show as always, thanking all the men and women who continue and who have previously served in our armed forces to allow us the freedom to do what we want to do on a daily basis. It does not go unnoticed. You know, football season is here, folks. That's right. Football season is here. And every time we start training camps, there's some adventures, there's some turmoil, and just overall positive and negative stuff that comes out of it. And nothing is different if you go down to Tampa, Florida, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have turmoil of their own. Not only does Vita Bayer have a contract dispute, now Baker Mayfield calling out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, saying that he feels disrespected. And I'm going to tell you my take on this, folks. First of all, in my opinion, and I say my opinion, of course, we always agree to disagree on this show, but I don't think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are disrespecting Baker Mayfield. I think it's the opposite way around. I think Baker Mayfield is disrespecting the Buccaneers. And some of you are going to say, come on, Larry, why? Well, let me explain this. They offered him $50 million for 2-year extension, but he wanted it longer. He wanted a longer tenure than 2 years. And, you know, that's great, but I don't think he's proven to them enough that he deserves a longer extension. Here's a guy in the league, he's 31 years old. Okay, he wants money like Jordan Love or Trevor Lawrence. And I'm going to tell you something. There's a big difference between those two players and Baker Mayfield. Number one, both those other players started out and were drafted by the teams they are still currently playing with. Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield is playing with his fourth team since coming into the NFL. Didn't work out in Cleveland. I think he had one decent year. Obviously, it didn't work out in Carolina. Played with LA for a couple of games, did okay, and then he came to Tampa Bay. So you're asking me, where does Baker fit into the rest of the quarterbacks in the league? And we're going to get into that in a minute. But someone please tell me why Baker Mayfield deserves an extension for over $50 million. And I'm going to go ahead and give you this information, folks. I don't know if you see it on my screen or not, but when you look at Baker Mayfield, his first season with the Buccaneers, 2023, the team went 9-8. 2024, 10-7, and 2025, he went 8-9. So here's a guy coming off his worst season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and asking for additional money. Baker Mayfield last year had 26 touchdown passes, 11 interceptions. His passer rating was 90.6. He threw for the least amount of yards that he has thrown for in the last 3 years, or in the 3 years he's been with the Buccaneers. Now, let's not forget, 2 years ago, he had an unbelievable season when the team was 10-7. He threw for 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. But he took a turn for the worse last year. And, you know, you see the 11 interceptions, you say that ain't bad. But there were so many turnover-worthy plays that Mayfield had that cost his team. I mean, here's a guy who's only 27-24 since taking over as quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His completion rate for the 3 years is 63.3%. The league average, and I'd say average, is 64%, so he's less than average. If you go ahead and you look at PFF rankings, he is currently ranked 18th. That's 18th in the NFL amongst quarterbacks. 18th, which is mid-range. So why would a team want to give somebody more tenure after coming off his worst season? Now, yes, the first two seasons, they won their division, but they're playing in the worst division in the NFL, being the NFC South. What, you got Atlanta, Carolina, and the Saints. Now, those teams are starting to get better. Remember, last year, 8-9, you played your division a total of 6 division games, 2 versus each team. You were 8-9. I don't care what all the other statistics were. His least amount of yards was 3,600 last year. I know they had some injuries, but this is a guy that has probably had the best receiving corps in all of the NFL. Now Evans is gone, and I still would rank them amongst the top receiving corps in the NFL. But too many mistakes by Mayfield cost this team, and I'm not saying Baker isn't the right quarterback for this team. I'm just saying that if I'm Jason Light, I'm not giving him more than 2 years. He didn't perform well last year. I want to see how he performs this year. Then we could talk about an extension. But they offered him $50 million a year, which is top-tier money, and he doesn't even deserve that. When you look at this, I have a logo I'm showing to people who are able to see it on video. The elite tier makes $55 million to $64 million a year. Example, those are the Patrick Mahomes, the Dak Prescotts, the Joe Burrows, who I don't believe Baker Mayfield even comes close to. Meanwhile, you got the middle average or the mid-tier is $33,000 to $42,000. Now, Baker's only making right around 32,000. I keep saying thousand. 33 million, 42 million is mid-tier. He's making on the low of the mid-tier, right around 33 million a year. So maybe he does deserve a little bit more money, maybe into the $37 million a year rate. But examples of that would be like Geno Smith, Matthew Stafford. Those are more people that quarterbacks that he represents. And for some reason, he thinks he's a lot better than he is. But when you look at this team, here's a team that did not even win their division last year. They were 8-9. The Panthers won the division. They had a losing record. And you can take, like I said before, all those stats and stick them where the sun don't shine, because the only stat that really matters is the win and loss column. What is your quarterback doing to help win games? And I'll tell you right now, the offer by the Buccaneers was a very, very fair offer. And it will come the end of the year, Baker Mayfield's going to pay for it. This is Larry Frank Sports Unfiltered. Remember, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Frankly Speaking Sports YouTube channel, and watch us on all social media platforms. Till next time, have a good